On the 19th, I was having back pains and they wouldn't let up. So I said to Jerry, we need to go to the ER. This was like at 4:30. No, 9:30. Anyways, they wouldn't let up. So they went into the ER in Clarkston and told them that I was having back pains that stopped at my elbows and once in a while in my jaw. Nothing in my chest, just across my back shoulders.
So she was convinced that she was not having a heart attack.
I was having gallbladder attack. So they went in, they ran an EKG. EKG came back fine. Then he says, we're going to do blood work because that tells us the little things. About 20 minutes later, he walked into the room and told me I was in the middle of a heart attack. And I was like, no, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. And I looked at Jerry and I said, call Pastor. And he did. And Pastor prayed for us to have a peace to come over us. And we did.
I could see fear in her eyes until Pastor prayed for her. And then I could see, honestly, I could see that she had let go of that fear and she was at peace.
So then they tell me there is no beds for me. No. Okay. He came in and said, there's no beds at any hospitals. We checked McLaren Pontiac. We checked St. Joe's. He said, but I'm going to try to get you into Beaumont and Troy. He did because he used to work there. The nurse said he pulled strings. So at favor. So I arrived by ambulance at 2:30 in the morning there. Weird ER. They dropped me off in the hallway and it was lined with people screaming and it was like, please, Lord, put me in my own room. He did. I got in my own room. Cardiologist came in at 6:30. At 8:30, I was in having a cath and they put a stent in. He can tell you where it's blocked.
Well, it was a main artery that had 80 and 90% blockage in two spots. And by the grace of God, they knew how to take care of it. They put a stent in. She was in the operating room for 45 minutes, and she was out. And the doctor said, you got here just in time. So God's timing is perfect.
It's a big one, is what
Yes,
it was a big one. And it was like Star Wars going in because they don't put you out. You know what's going on. I watched them go into my heart and they were talking to me and everything. So then I came home Tuesday. Wednesday morning I got up and it felt like somebody was punching me in my chest all the way through to my back. And I called my cardiologist and they said, well, he's not even in the office till next Monday. And I said, okay, what do I do? And she says, well, I don't know. I'll call you back when I find out. She called me back. She says, well, I talked to the office manager and she thinks she should go to ER. It's like, okay. So I called Jerry at work and I said, something's not right. He came home. He called.
Yeah, I called McLaren, or not McLaren, Beaumont, where she went, and they said, well, we can't tell you anything. If she's having pains like that, she needs to go back to an emergency. And then I also called the emergency room where she went, and they told her the same thing. So off we went back to McLaren to the emergency.
10:30 in the morning. Finally, and they told me that it could be the stent had collapsed so that my enzymes were over 1,000. And when I was in the middle of the heart attack, they were between 300 and 500. So something wasn't right. So the nurse comes in and she puts me on these medicines that you can't get out of bed, that if you fall, you could bleed out in minutes. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? They said, we're looking to get you into another hospital, but right now there's no ambulances, there's no beds available, there's people ahead of you that's been here for 24 hours, so it's just a matter of waiting. So I think it was like 8:30 that night,
It was between 8:30 and 9.
Yeah, between 8:30 and 9, she came in, and this is her words. I don't know who pulled what out of their butt, but we have an ambulance and a room for you. And at 8:20,
We found out later
that Pastor had prayed, or had everybody praying with what Winnie's need Winnie's get. And we did. So I just want you all to know, he hears your prayers. He answers your prayers. So don't ever give up. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for your prayers. Don't stop praying, they work. I just need to say this about Becky said something about the strength, was talking about the strength of the Lord in that, or the strength of the Lord. And when we were over here singing and worshiping and praying God, I could see this house was filled with joy. I mean, there was so much joy. I mean, she was jumping up and down. She's not supposed to, but I mean, there was so much joy. And the word says, the joy of the Lord is our strength. So that's what you spoke today. That's why, because there is so much joy in here.